Mark, I'm Jenny Ye and my student number is S064139. I'm a freshman at NCUE, and my major is English. The title of the speech is Making Peace is a Marathon, and the speaker is El-Khalil. I came from Lebanon, and I believe that running can change the world. I know what I have just said is simply not obvious. You know, Lebanon as a country has been once destroyed by a long and bloody civil war. Honestly, I don't know why they call it civil war when there's nothing civil about it. With Syria to north, Iraq and Palestine to the south, in our government, even up till this moment, is still fragmented and unstable. For years, the country has been divided between politics and religion. However, for one day a year, we truly stand united, and that's when the marathon takes place. I used to be a marathon runner. Long-distance running was not only good for my well-being, but it helped me meditate and dream big. So the longer distance I ran, the bigger my dreams became. Until one fateful morning, while training, I was hit by a bus. I nearly died, was in coma, stayed at the hospital for 2 years, and underwent 36 surgeries to be able to walk again. As soon as I came out of my coma, I realized that I was no longer the same runner I used to be. So I decided if I couldn't run myself, I wanted to make sure that others could. So out of my hospital bed, I asked my husband to start taking notes, and a few months later, the marathon was born. Organizing a marathon as a reaction to an accident may sound strange, but at that time, even during my most vulnerable condition, I needed to dream big. I needed something to take me out of my pain, an objective to look forward to. I didn't want to pity myself nor prepare it, and I thought by organizing such a marathon, I would be able to pack back to my community, build a bridge with the outside world, and invite runners to come to Lebanon and run under the umbrella of peace. Organizing a marathon in Lebanon is definitely not like organizing one in New York. How do you introduce the concept of running to a nation that is constantly at the brink of war? How do you ask those who were once fighting and killing each other to come together and run next to each other? More than that, how do you convince people to run a distance of 26.2 miles at a time they are not even familiar with the word marathon? So we had to start from scratch. For almost 2 years, we went all over the country and even visited remote villages. I personally met with people from all walks of life: mayors, NGOs, school children, politicians, militiamen, people from mosques, churches, the president of the country, even housewives. I learned one thing: when you walk the talk, people believe you. Many were touched by my personal story, and they shared their stories in return. It was honesty and transparency that brought us together. We spoke one common language to each other, and that was from one human to another. Once that truth was built, Everybody wanted to be part of marathon to show the world the true color of Lebanon and Lebanese and their desire to live in peace and harmony. In October 2003, over 600 runners from 49 different nationalities came to the starlight, or dynamite, and when the gunfire went off, this time it was a signal to run in harmony for change. The marathon grew, so there are political problems. For every disaster we had, the marathon found ways to bring people together. In 2005, our Prime Minister was assassinated, and the country came to a complete standstill. So we organized a 5-kilo United We Run campaign. Over 60,000 people came to the starlight, all wearing white shirts with no political slogans. That was a turning point for the marathon, where people started looking at it as a platform for peace and unity. Between 2006 and 2009, our country, Lebanon, went through unstable years, invasions, and more assassinations that brought us close to a civil war. The country was divided again, so much that our parliament resigned. We had no president for a year and no prime minister, but we did have a marathon. Applause. So through the marathon, we learned that political problems can be overcome. When the opposition party decided to shut down part of the city center, we negotiated alternative routes. Government protesters became sign-like cheerleaders. They even hosted Jewish stations. Laughter. You know, the marathon has really become one of its kind. It gained credibility from both the Lebanese and the international community. Last November 2012, over 33,000 runners from 85 different nationalities came to Starlight. But this time, they challenged a very stormy and rainy weather. The streets were flooded, but people didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to be part of such a national day. BMA has expanded. We include everyone, the young, the elderly, the disabled, the mentally challenged, the blind, the elite, the mature runners, even moms with their babies. Themes have included Run for Environment, Breast Cancer, For Love of Lebanon, For Peace, or just simply Run. The first annual All-Women and Girls Race for Empowerment, which is one of its kind in the region, had just taken place only a few weeks ago, with 4,512 women, including the First Lady, and this is the only beginning. Thank you. Applause. BMA has supported charities and volunteers who have helped reshape Lebanon, raising funds for their cause and encouraging others to give. The culture of giving and doing good has become contagious. Stereotypes have been broken. Changemaker and future leaders have been created. I believe these are the building blocks for future peace. BMA has become such a respected event in the region that government officials in the region, like Iraq, Egypt, and Syria, have asked the organization to help them structure similar sporting events. We're now one of the largest running events in the Middle East. But most importantly, there is a plan for help and cooperation in an ever fragile and unstable part of the world. From Boston to Beirut, we stand as one. Applause. Every 10 years in Lebanon, from national marathon or from national events to smaller regional races, we've seen that people want to run for a better future. After all, peacemaking is not a sprint, it is more of a marathon. Thank you. Applause.